going to say is very important for New South Wales. So would you like to join us?
I'm also going to watch the door because we've got strays walking in both the cars.
You can't delegate that?
I can't hear exactly what you're saying.
Okay. Because we've got Bass Strait here.
That's okay, we're used to that. No, it's good. Keeps things pure.
People on their own right at the top of the garden.
That's what the water is.
Yeah, that's the water.
Good morning all.
Okay.
And thank you for the opportunity of sharing with you the journey that we're on. For some of you, maybe the journey that you're going to go on, or some of you, the journey we've been on for some years. A couple of things I just preface with. One is that if I'm critical or make a critical comment about anybody or anything or any process, be damn sure that I follow up with a fix. And if you don't follow up a criticism with a suggested fix, you're part of the problem. It's as simple as that. So there will be a couple of examples that I might give that some people might say, might be me. It doesn't matter, it's for the benefit of the group, and there'll be a suggested fix. My position is a position of no authority, so it's not a power position. I'm not after power. I am after influence, please. Thank you. My position in the order, can you hear? I'm doing my best, so I hope all you in the YouTube can hear me. Yeah, my position in the order is one of a staff position, and those of you who have been trained in management know that there's a management line of management, or in our case, a hierarchy, and I'm not on that. So that's where you have positions of responsibility, and my position is an advisory, consultant, training, and all that. And I won't go into my background, but just understand that I've done a lot of this work. So we'll move on from there, but I just want you to understand that I can't tell you what to do, and I'm trying not to. So try and draw out of what I say something that may be of benefit, and I'll offer that to you. When I came on State Council 7 years ago, I was a backbencher in Werribee Branch, and I thought the Knights had about 5 years. And I didn't really want to go on State Council. I had no ambition to be a state chairman, or I couldn't even be bothered. There were so many guys waffling on State Council and state chairman who didn't seem to have any direction, and they were floating around, and I thought, I don't care if it lasts another 5 years, and I've got other things to do in life. Maybe some of you share that with me. But then when I got pushed to go on State Council, I went away and consulted with the Holy Spirit and a number of other thoughts and what have you, and then I realised that my training and background and everything is all to do about branch and organisation development. So that's what brings me here 7 years later. Yesterday, a couple of things were mentioned. One was gaining traction. So I've rewritten all my script because yesterday I learned so much. And every time you get involved in this and do it yourself or take it on or study it, you learn and you become better at understanding it. And then once you understand it, you can play with it. So yesterday I learned quite a few things, and gaining traction was what Brother John said. If you observe what's going on in the southeast, and that now includes South Australia, it has gained traction. And if you see what we're doing, I'm not going to go into detail, but if you see what we're doing and the results that are starting to germinate, you'll see that yes, it has gained traction, and we have parish priests in Melbourne now seeking out the Knights to come and have a branch in their parish. I want to also ask that you start to change the branding of this. There's too much John Hennessy in it. I want John Hennessy right out of it. It's not a John Hennessy thing, it's an order development program. And if we can start using that terminology, it's far easier to then start getting branch development officers in each state and a branch development portfolio in each branch, each district, whatever. So please get the John Hennessy out of it. Depersonalise. It's not For me, it's just stuff that's in the textbook. So I haven't come up with any revolutionary creative thought. This is all stuff out of the textbook. And those of you who have studied management, you will have seen all this before. So it's nothing new, but it is new to the Knights. If it's not new to the Knights, it's good to have this refresher. I better get on with this. What's happening? Right. Yeah, we're so well prepared.
Yeah, don't worry, your man is going to hit the camera for you. Yeah, but don't worry.
Andrew, didn't fix it. So does that make it okay with mine? Okay. At least now, I hope that you might notice that I've got a bit more confidence and I'm not starting off perhaps as nervously as what I have in past presentations, because confidence is built and there's great support now growing for this program. So thank you for that. So of all these buttons, which one do I push?
Second one.
Thank you. Glad you came. All right, we're talking about entering the leadership here, and this is all about leadership. A lot of the word leadership is a lot of times thrown around, bandied around, and I'm thinking, hang on, you're talking about leadership, you're talking about leaders, and they're not leading at all. There's no leadership at all. And leadership is demonstrated. Leadership has to be accepted. If leadership is not accepted, there is no leadership. And that's a basic principle of leadership. So I wish to just go through leadership for a couple of minutes. That's a traditional hierarchical structure which the Knights have had. And in leadership we have people aspiring to climb up the ladder, and we have this in corporations, we have it in branch life, we have it in state life, and we have it also in national and international, where people just like to, for whatever reason, climb up the ladder. We've had a structure like that. The chairman could be the state council, the chairman could be the chairman could be a portfolio holder who is responsible for an area, and he's got his helpers. They're all feeding back into him. Okay, and traditionally state council in Victoria, all the branches say, oh, state council won't let us do that, state council this, state council that, because they're so inward focused, they're not outward focused. And we talk about servant leadership. Servant leadership is definitely not that, and it is definitely not that. Servant leadership is that. Servant leadership is getting out and developing your people to make their own decisions. They're empowered to take their branch or state or district forward and be open and looking for how they may grow and extra activities and involvements they may achieve. Servant leadership, I'm not going to go through that, but it's there and you all have it. Okay, that was on the 2014 plan that Michael McConville did in Brisbane, and it's something that's intertwined with all of this. All of this program is a 2014 plan, and so far we've struggled to get it going. If you only look at the program, it's all there. Okay, it's all there, and it comes down to branch level, and that is where the servant leadership kicks in, and we start getting it going in the branches, and then from the branches it starts to come back up, and state councils and start then controlling what the 2014 plan says, well not controlling, but supporting it and looking for ways they can service the branches and districts who are performing. Leadership is reactive and proactive, and that is being a caretaker or a leader. Now we have, I'm afraid we've had and do have probably in our whole organisation, I'm not singling out anyone, but from top to bottom, we have caretakers. we also have leaders. Caretakers are those who don't have any vision, they don't have a plan going, and they aspire to the position and they say, okay, where's the chair? Oh, there's the chairman's chair. They sit down, they get comfortable and look after the place, the way it has been for so many years. Nothing much develops or happens. And that can be very busy. As state chairman, I remember when I was state chairman, you get so many invitations and requests to go out and perform or attend or hand out medals or certificates, and you can be very busy. And people used to say to me, John, you seem to be everywhere. I say the same thing about Carmen, he's everywhere. And that's really good because I see the state chairman getting out and getting involved. But that's about a quarter of the job. So that's what a caretaker is, he's reacting. An invitation comes, he reacts, he goes. The people we're needing to be are leaders, busy looking forward, planning and leading. And that's really a big difference and a change that we have to be looking at. Also, there's required in this a change in thinking. We have established thinking, and we have the future thinking. What we're going to be doing, rather than this is what we do, this is what we have done. The question I have for you, or the challenge I put, is, okay, I respect what you've been doing and what you are doing, and it's very important to keep doing it, but I'm more interested in what you're going to be doing. You know, where are you taking the place? Functions of management, and I hope I'm not going too quickly, but I don't have much time. And you've all seen this before, because I've shown it on a 56 slides I showed one year. My God, how did I do that? Apologise for that. I've tried to contain this a little bit more. This is not the development program. This is just a description of the benefits of it and part of the content, which I hope enables you to take it on and understand that, gee, if we started to get this program going in our place, we would be operating a lot better. And that's in spite of several of you, or most of our states, they're going reasonably well. I don't think that I'm putting everyone down. I'm not at all. It's all about how we can enhance what we do. For anyone to be a leader, you've got to have a plan. If you don't have a plan, where do you know where to lead? Where are you leading? So you're wandering in the wilderness again and not journeying. So we must have a plan and we must organise. And if we're planned and organised, that's the key to our moving forward. If we don't have a plan and organised, we have no idea where we're going, we don't have any discipline or ability to take on stuff and drive it forward. When I say, and several of you have heard, that we do not have a membership problem, and I've repeated that several times, we do not have a membership problem. Our membership issue is because, or it's as a result of the problem. And the problem is lack of planning, lack of managing. The problem is we don't have a vision. The problem is we don't know where we're going. And when we get vision and planning and organising going in our branches, then we can start addressing these other issues. We have control freaks. They started controlling. If you started controlling, you're just going to upset people and go nowhere. Directing. You've got nothing to direct if you don't have a plan and a plan of action ahead of you. And staffing, that relates to membership. That comes after the first two, and there has to be a stress on the first two. So developing a vision is just so important. And how do we do it? We have to identify a need for this organisation, or a need singing out in the church that might be fulfilled or addressed by an organisation like ours. And this can be national, it can be parish, and anywhere in between. And it could also be international. So what is the need of the Knights globally? What is the need of the Knights in Australia? What need are we looking at? So we draw a profile or a synopsis of what the church is, where the church is at today. This is not finite. I'm not suggesting that you follow this or whatever. I'm suggesting you need to perform this as part of the process of coming up with your vision, coming up with our vision. So there's a whole heap of stuff there about the shortage of priests and stressed priests and morale with priests with the Royal Commission and the outcome of that, and the whole issue with where the church is at the moment in the world, in Australia. So what needs are drawn out of that, and that's, I think, very important to have that in front of us, and then from there we start nominating the needs to draw a picture, and that's where we come to. There we go. We come to a suggested vision statement. I'm not going to go far in this because George is going to talk about this afternoon. But I threw this at you after the last meeting in November, and I have to say I was a little bit disappointed that I didn't get active response and conversation and discussion going, because here we are 6 months later, and 6 months is just wiped off. And we could have had a discussion on this in those 6 months. You could have gone away, put it to your states, like we have in Victoria, and that's broadly what we're looking at in Victoria, for being a strong, faithful organisation of Catholic men assisting with the stewardship of Australia throughout Victoria. And that's how we've modified it. We've taken charge with and changed it to assisting with. And it's a little bit different. But, I'll leave that for George to go through. And then we go from there through the mission statement and our values, shared values, and then into doing a listing everything the parish does, everything the church does, everything the Knights have done, and then we broaden it out to go into what we should be doing, could be doing, and shall be doing. And that's really where we start to come with a vision of our direction and where we want to go. So we take the list and then sort it into portfolios in the branches. And I've just started, as you've probably read, a new branch in my parish. And we couldn't find anyone else. Me being the only member of the Knights in the parish, I'm the branch chairman. So what we're doing, we're going to have our first meeting in a couple of weeks. We had the inaugural meeting a couple of weeks ago, and now we're going to meet next Wednesday week. It's interesting, a comment was made at the inaugural meeting, and I hope, Carmen, you don't mind, but it's a good example of our established thinking. And there's a guy there, and I hope we can get him eventually. He was thrown out of his family. They lived in a Melbourne suburb. He was thrown out of his family by his father when he was 15. And at that time, he'd been doing pretty well at school and what have you. And the family was going through a marriage breakdown. And I think it was pretty sure it was a marriage breakdown. And then his father said, if you don't like it, you can leave or something. He said, all right, I'll leave. And his father probably thought he'd be back in 48 hours. He was on the streets and mixing with druggies and what have you for about 5 years. And at the age of 20, he survived that. At the age of 20, he thought, I'm going nowhere in life. And he had the intelligence to reflect on his life. And then he thought, I was doing pretty well at school, so I can't be stupid. And I can't be dumb like all these other guys. So he started to rationalise all this, and he tidied himself up and was lucky enough to get a job. I don't know what the industry was or whatever it was, but he got a job in customer service with some company, and he did so well at it, they transferred him to Perth. He was in Perth for about 10 years, maybe longer. He's 37 now, and he's been back for about 18 months. So he was in Perth for probably 10 or 15 years, and developing and growing, and the business did well. He got married, had a couple of kids, and he woke up one morning a couple of years ago with this burning thing in his head, New Norcia. You've got to go to New Norcia. So here he is, he's a big rump of a guy, he's got tattoos hanging out his top collar here, and he sort of doesn't have much of a neck, if you know what I mean. And here he is, he got to go to New Norcia. So he said to his wife, sorry, I've got to go, I'll be away overnight in New Norcia. So off he went thinking that New Norcia, he'd been past it on his Harley Davidson and he thought it was just a Buddhist monastery. So he arrives at this Buddhist monastery in this little town and lo and behold he discovers it's Catholic. And they took him in and made him very welcome, and to cut a long story short, he came back and entered the RCIA program in Perth and was baptised Easter last year. So he's been a Catholic for 14 months. With that background, we're looking at portfolios that handle the lonely, the isolated and all that area. He's now come out of that job. He had in Perth and doing quite well and having a nice lifestyle. It's in the Melbourne Catholic if anyone wants to read his story about his life. So, yeah, he came out of the job, retired from the job, and came over here and took up social work, working with the disadvantaged, and he's now working with prisoners who are about to be released and trying to help them to understand what it's like outside. So that guy, with a profile like that, and he's a man of action. And when I said, all right, we're going to have a meeting, our first meeting will probably be in July, because I've got Sydney, Adelaide and several other things on between now and whatever I could think of. Anyway, he said afterwards, he said, oh, it sounded to me. He said, I'm man of action. If you get me in here, he said, I need to get going straight away. And I thought, yeah, and Carmen picked up on this as well. And so immediately we have this guy and we're starting to think, maybe he won't fit into what we do. And then Carmen made that suggestion and I was thinking the same thing. And I started to think of a response to Carmen along the same lines when I suddenly said, hang on, we've got a new branch here, we've got this program going that I'm promoting, and here we are thinking in the established way. We're thinking in the established way. This guy won't fit. Right? How wrong's that? So our new branch will start with all the portfolios wiped, the RNA portfolios, and we will go through the needs, the list. We'll establish a list for our parish, for our branch, and that list will then be categorised, sorted into portfolios, and then we will have portfolios. So we don't have an economic portfolio, we don't have a fraternity. They may come out in a form, but the new way will be away with the old, and then pick pieces out of the old that we can use in the new, but redevelop the whole picture. So we have dedicated portfolios to do this. And then you'll say, we don't have the people. We don't have the people. Well, the challenge then is to write a profile of what you want in the people and go to the warehouse next door on Sunday morning and after Mass, go to that person, having done a bit of research to find out who he is, and say, brother, we want you in the nights. Let me talk to you. What then? And all of a sudden, the way we go and select members, we have a need for that member. And he will be flattered that we've recognised his area of ability, skills, background, and he will then join the Knights. This is an oversimplification, thank you very much. But this is the theory and the practice, and this is the way we are going to be doing it in Werribee. So we will go and find the right person for the job. And he will be in human resources, he'll be a plumber, I don't know. But the profile will tell us what we want, and we'll go and recruit him. And then he will have his portfolio, and then he will have a vision for that portfolio, where he wants it to go, and then he will then have to recruit members to go and work in his portfolio with him. And he will know, or be helped, to find those people he needs. And this is the whole crux. So we come back then to, yes, this is how we get members. We've spent so many frustrating years going out and tapping people on the shoulder and saying, oh, come and join us. What the hell have we got going? Why would we need members when we've got nothing for them to do? And they last 6 months, 12 months, 2 years, and they've wandered off. They've lost interest, they've got bored, there's nothing here for me. Where if we apply to the right people, and then, of course, we'll get other people wanting to become part of it, just because they see it all happening, there's action going on here. So that's where all that finishes, and that's the whole guts of the program. The details are in the program that I've sent out, and I think there's not really much more I need to go on with there. Do I have any questions, please?
I just make a couple of quick comments. I'm really impressed with the stories but some of the key aspects of it is aspects of vision. What is the vision of your particular branch? What is the vision of the Knights? And then also what is the mission? And a bit like we've got our objects of the order, what is the mission of our order? And what is the mission of the branch? And then in turn, what other values we hold? What other common values we all hold together as far as our objects and in turn our vision and mission. So I believe that's going to be discussed later on, but yeah, it's very good. Enjoy that.
Damien?
John, you talk about renewal, and probably from some experiences I've had in other organisations, if you're starting a new branch, it's very difficult to build it out of the ashes of an old. Do you see a need, rather than trying to rebuild Werribee, to have the new Werribee and bring in a whole new group that will start from scratch with some mentors coming in?
In Melbourne, I googled Melbourne a couple of weeks ago, and I found that they've blown the population up to 5 million. That's a lot of people. It's about the size of Sydney now, population-wise. We have so many parishes that if this one's dead, we'd start the next one. We go to the next one. We also have the great benefit of the Archbishop's Dinner. Knights of the Southern Cross Pre-Support Education Fund Archbishop's Dinner every year, which is given well over $1 million to development. Bishop Max mentioned that, I think, came to the conversation yesterday. From this Archbishop's Dinner, where most of the priests go, it goes right into the seminary, and we have a launch in the seminary every year, which was a couple of weeks ago. And the seminarians now, it's been going for 20 years, the seminarians who have been part of this are well out into the parishes now. We have one here. He was there. He knows all about what the Archbishop Dinner does and the funds, where they go. And so does Bishop Max and several others. This has given us a great presence, which is now multiplying. It's now going out around the place. We don't bother going and knocking on the door too hard for a priest who's going to say, no, I don't want the Knights, not interested. We'll get to him later, because we've got now a very good nucleus of priests dotted around Melbourne Archdiocese and also some in the country areas, but mainly the Melbourne Archdiocese. We've got our hands full there in developing where these priests are starting to hear the word, and they say, oh yeah, they're nice, you know. And this priest has got one started in his branch, in his parish, last year. So his mate, who is over here, 20 kilometres away in another parish, he's watching and saying, I think I need the Knights in my parish. And that's how it's going. We've got several parishes on the branches on the eastern side of Melbourne, and also one in Werribee, where in Werribee, I'll go forward there. The branch that I've been involved with for 35 years, 35 years, it was dying. It had none of this. When I was branch chairman 10 or 15 years ago, I tried to get them around the table, and what I learned was that they're just not interested. And it's a point that I made yesterday, I think, to a couple of people, and also in the last few months. It's about 10% of our membership is interested in all this stuff, and we have to be aware of that. And we need to be drawing out the people who are going to take it forward and who are going to understand this and think, gee, this is where we're going. Because 80 to 90% of our members just want to be told where to go, where to meet, what to bring, and what time. And that's really what they want. And to get involved in all this planning rubbish, no, not interested. So if we're aware of that, we need to be concentrating on the people who are going to receive this, just like we're concentrating on the parishes that are going to receive. Any further questions?
Yeah, I think, John, with respect to the presentation, it's obviously evolved over time over the last 4 years, and I think today is, the ease in which you made the presentation. Initially there was a sense of urgency and I suppose forcefulness a little bit about it, but it's the aspect of evolving and from the point of view, rather than forcing the pointing, we have to have membership and we need membership and we're not going to survive and it's dire and we're going to be out of business in 5 years, and you use the word by reflection, is reflecting back on what we have done. We do a lot of good things and we deliver a lot, but it's kind of standing on the shoulders of that and taking it forward in a non-forceful way, which I think is what the church tries to do as well. And I think what you're saying in the strategy is what you've got to now is the notion of like a roadmap or a mud map, as per se. It's subjected to being taken and you mould it to your own requirements, depending on what it is. So it's being flexible and adaptable and changeable kind of thing. But essentially, some of the key steps along the way are the same, like planning and organising and certain leadership. So I think all the key components are all there. But I think there's sufficiently enough for everybody here in the room to take on board and reflect. And it's not what you're not saying now. This is the definitive plan. You must follow this in this order, in these steps, but taking it and adapting it within your own branch or your state. And more than I think you only learn when you start by doing it, and that's what you're saying you're trying to within the establishment branch of Victoria and saying, okay, well, you got preconceived ideas, so this I'm going to do, boom, this, but when I talk to the group and others say, well, maybe that's not the right way, I need to be flexible and we need to go attack it from this side.
Thank you. Yeah, this is obviously, people ask me if I've got the latest version, because I do tamper with it. The more I present, the more I learn. And I go into parishes and talk to the parish priest and just flick through the pages of the program. And as soon as they see you've got a vision and you've got a mission for their parish, because it's not the standard vision or mission. It's no good going into a parish and saying we want to start a branch of nuns. You've got to go in with, here's our vision for this parish. We research the parish, we understand it, and this is our vision. And at this stage, what we'd like to see, and present to the priest what the knights can do and will do in his parish, and what his parish branch could look like. So we're not going into these places and saying, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do the other. We involve the priest, and it's a two-way thing, and from that, you learn so much also.
Yeah. John, sorry.
Just a couple of quick ones. We've got
Yeah, very quick. I'll be very quick. In style, I don't know, but John, thanks for your persistence and your patience and your passion. It's great. The best half hour I have spent in this conference today was with Tom on the bus yesterday. 38-year-old very handsome Tom.
I'm 40.
But what you have said today has backed up what I asked Tom and what Tom told me yesterday. It's actually finding the niche, finding what is really important. And one of the principles of management is not doing things right, but doing the right things. And that means being adaptive and changing. Tom sort of said that to me yesterday, and it's turned the light on for me. We've been trying to do things, I think, the way that all the older fellows have wanted to do it. And I respect them deeply because they've given 50 years plus, many of them, so take nothing away. But if we want to get young fellows like Tommy, we need to turn on a few buttons.
Yeah, sure. Chair, one comment.
Yeah, one.
I'd just like to say that if you continue doing nothing, then you know the result, because that's what's been happening. If you're prepared to have a go and try and do something and take a new line, I think you've got somewhat of a chance.
Okay, just a couple of things to finish.
Yeah.
I think we'll finish with questions, run out of time.
So I'll give you another minute or two. We're getting very short.
Yeah. I mentioned before leaders and caretakers. The caretakers, and there are many of us, we can now study this program, study it, and think about it. And one guy in Melbourne, he didn't read it, he couldn't be bothered, or didn't have time, or it didn't interest him. So he asked me to summarise it for him. And I said, oh, okay, I can do that. This guy's on State Council. And I said, yeah, I can do that. So I went home and I thought, summarise it? No way. I said, you summarise it. So I got back to him on the email and said, no, you summarise it. Because in him summarising it, well, it's like anyone who's done a study. You know how to study. So I left it with him, and he did. I don't know when he did the thing, but he had to then go back and read it and understand it. So caretakers can take on this program and become leaders. And that was the suggested fix. If I've got a criticism about some of you being caretakers, I hope that you pick up this and say, gee, now I can lead it. Now we can do this, and I can lead it. Facilitate it, lead it. And that, I think, is a key to the whole organisation moving forward.
Yeah. One quick question.
One very quick question. I've got on my computer here some information, PowerPoint presentation set to we got in June last year. Is that still the current version?
Probably not. It's ancient.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what I'll do, I've got an updated program. I'll update everybody. I hope you've all got your emails. But as I've been doing in the past, and as I did last November, I sent everyone what was up to date last November. And
Yeah,
I'll
two.
do the same again.
Adobe and a PDF one we had last time. Okay, that?
Yeah, don't get too close.
Maybe John, I know how to give it to Bob or not, Bob Jerkins, because he's got the whole email.
Carmen, you go there. One quick
I'll
question.
just finish off that. We've been very fortunate in Victoria having John on board, and National's been very lucky to decide to put on the role of water development national. This presentation has evolved over the last 4 years. It gets better and better every time John produces it. We've just, at the end of the day, it's all right to listen and hear, but we've got to act upon it. And we're starting to see the rewards of Victoria, and I'd like to see the states take it on board. And congratulate John on the work he's done over the last 4 years.
Finally, thank you. Finally, our good branches are doing the blue. Now, don't ask me if that's 45% or 20%, but I just nominated that. And we think this came out of one of our district chairmen who thought his branch was, the leader. They are the leader in activity. We've got the 3 members here from that branch. They do a lot of stuff, but they do it all within the blue. I've got a thing here.
That's it.
And can I say that in the past, when that would have happened before, John would have lost the plot, and today he's done it madly. It's just like nothing's happened.
I hope you observe I'm getting better at it. But the blue is what the good branches are doing, and the green is what all the branches and the whole country can be doing. We just haven't taken our blinkers off, and it's all about personal development and a whole lot of stuff. So I think if we could just broaden our thinking, change our thinking, I'll stop there. You won't know what I haven't said.
People can talk to John during the course of today, and we have to go. You want one comment?
One of the best ways to learn about this program is to do what I've actually done in the last 6 months, and I've actually started to present these to branches myself. So I think I don't know if any of you have ever been teachers, you know that the best way to learn something is to have to teach it to others. So I'd encourage members to try and learn about the program and then try and present it to your own branch or district, because it increases your understanding of the whole process as well.
Thank you, Mike.
So we were talking about it at our development committee, and John has been the only one who's been presenting it, and we realised that we have to take it out to our own branch as
South
well.
Australia are looking to go down that same path, and
Yeah.
they've invited John over to talk.
It's a really good
And
way of
I
doing it.
support and endorse what John's been doing. He's done a fantastic job. And Victoria are seeing reaping the benefits by their new branches. We in South Australia almost got a branch up in Kapunda recently, but we won't stop there. We'll keep looking, keep working, and see if we can do and achieve what you guys have done. Thanks, John.